Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang with Morsels of a Thought number 1300. Isn't that great? We're on the 1300th Morsels of a Thought. Yin Yang's Morsels of a Thought. Okay, here we are. I am putting it in info right now. Goodness gracious, how do we do that? Ooh, it looks like a lot, doesn't it? Let's try it again. Morsels of a Thought. We can shorten that to MOAT. Ooh, ooh. Ah, I like that. Wickedly Smart Women by Anjel B. Hartwell. We've got the chapter number 12. Nicole Mendes, and she's writing about a transcendent traveler from my heart to my hands. And this is Wickedly Smart Women Trusting Intuition, Taking Action, Transforming Worlds. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Nicole Mendes is in this photograph here. I will show you her. She is actually looking like a chef. Looking like a chef. How do I get this really close up? No, can't. Okay, well, here we are. There's her photo. Okay. Nicole Mendes is an international traveling chef. Originally from Massachusetts, she is a graduate of Johnson & Wales and the University of Massachusetts Amherst with degrees in culinary arts, sustainable farming, and business. She has spent the past 7 years working professionally in some of the most prestigious kitchens throughout Boston, from Rialto and to most recently, Oya. Capital O, next word, capital Y, A. Once the pandemic happened, her life began to shift. She transitioned from restaurant life to working on a farm and managing farmers markets. Following her inner compass, her life took another turn when she was called to travel to Costa Rica to live on an off-grid permaculture farm and community in the middle of the jungle of Manzanillo. This then turned into cooking for retreats in the small town of Dominical on the opposite side of the country. The culmination of these recent transitions and exposures to new ways of living and working has resulted in her quest for following and tuning in to her intuition and questioning her higher purpose. She has been on a path of inner work, tapping into her spiritual guides in order to navigate life more gracefully, all with the intention to become more closely aligned to her most authentic self. Ultimately, this has allowed her to integrate more consciously into her role as a chef, farmer, and light being of the world. She describes her She describes her deep passion for food as one of the best ways to break down the barriers between people, opening them up to love and nourishment, all while offering a glimpse into her life. Connect with Nicole at https:// www.instagram.com/transcendent traveler. One word. There we are. A little over a week ago, she says, I began each morning drinking and having cacao rituals, subconsciously being called to open and prepare my heart for this moment of writing, a ceremony that I blessedly discovered during my travels to Costa Rica. A ceremony and ritual that is unfamiliar to most of those living here in the States. When most Americans and Westerners hear the word cacao, immediate thoughts of overly sweet chocolate and desserts infiltrate their minds. Completely disconnected to the plant, the fruit itself, and the process that once it's fermented, roasted, and turned into a rich, delicious cup of cacao is a true ancestral form of heart-opening medicine. Each day this past week, after having my cacao, I could feel the beginning of expansion and preparation for this moment. Now, on this gorgeous and oddly warm November day, I sit here on the outside patio of the Palace of Pleasures, capitalized, a magical space where I have most recently landed. Even more importantly, this is where I most recently expanded. I'm thinking to myself, the time is here and it is now. Time, THYME. It is now that I am ready to fully transcend upon many years of hiding, fear, and repression and turn them into years of expansion and expression. I think she actually meant TIME, but since she's a cook, she's entitled. Although, if I am going to be honest, I've been struggling and spending countless hours thinking about how I am going to approach writing this chapter. Having lived what feels like multiple lifetimes in the past 27 years of my life, it's been quite challenging to think of a starting point with many stories, layers of trauma and healing that I've undergone. It almost seems impossible to condense it into one chapter. However, with every sip of cacao, my heart begins to open more and more, reminding myself to tune in and breathe deep into the depths of my heart and to realize that this right here, this rawness, this natural flow as I write, truly letting my heart speak to my hands, this is exactly how it is supposed to happen. It is almost like when I am gifted with a bounty of fresh farm produce in the kitchen. With my years of experience as a chef, I immediately and without any second guessing can take these ingredients and transform them into something delicious. Now, with an open heart and letting go of the second guessing, it's time for me to once again face fear in its eyes, to follow that intuition, that internal knowing. However, this time it won't be as the chef that I am, but as the transgender woman that I am, the woman that I have always been, the one who has been there all along, right from the beginning of my life, guiding me to this very moment of transformation. This is the moment to open my voice to the world, to create a new type of delicious content, taking the words of my heart and putting them into words on paper. I am hopeful that my words, emotions, and stories will help others to transcend and keep moving forward in their journey as I continue moving forward and expanding in mine. For most of my life, I have felt like an outsider, like I don't really belong anywhere. Constantly, I struggled to navigate my femininity, finding my place, finding my voice, and fitting in as a woman in the world. For the longest time, I have been carrying a bit of shame, a lot of shame surrounding my transgender identity, subconsciously and willingly hiding it, terrified to express it, still walking through life like I am carrying this deep, dark secret that can fall out from under me at any moment, creating a level of unhealthy anxiety. Deep inside, I was questioning, will I ever be woman enough? Ultimately, I was stuck in a phase lacking love and self acceptance for this part of me. Flowing through life, trying to block out this truth of who I am, is not a healthy way to live. I never expected that life post surgery, I would still be facing all of these insecurities and emotions. At the time, some naive part of me assumed that once I got my vagina, all of these things would simply fade away. Well, that's the beauty of life, constantly keeping you on edge so you can keep on growing. This act alone of writing is liberating this part of myself, is a transformation and affirmation in and of itself. This past year, for me, has truly been one of shedding off layers. It's quite amazing to reflect on how I have arrived at this moment. It wasn't until recently that a great deep shift occurred, an unexpected shift that I didn't see coming, but one I have only longed for. I was guided to a festival called Unifer in western Massachusetts, guided there by an incredible angel, Angel, intentional misspelling. I had never heard of the Unifier Festival before. Oh, Unifier Festival before, but Unifier as in capital U. Unifier Festival before, but once I found out what it was about and was offered a chance to go, that internal voice I've been tuning into more and more compelled me to go. Not really knowing what to expect, I surrendered to the flow. It was a gorgeous August day, the warmth of the sun beaming down into the forest, reflecting off the trees and the beautiful pond nearby. The energy in the air was similar to the solstice festival experienced in Guatemala, a space that invited everyone to come as they are. I spent a decent amount of time wandering around and wondering why I was truly there. Oftentimes, in these types of spaces, my introverted side kicks in and takes hold. When I found out there was a red tent, which is a safe space and container that is held and hosted by and for women, I felt called to enter the space. Hesitating at first, I put it off for a while. It wasn't until later that evening that a ceremony was happening. Unaware of the details, I finally gained the courage to enter. Upon entering, my body filled with intimidation, that outsider feeling followed me into the tent. Having no idea of the depths of the journey I was about to embark on, I found a little space to make myself comfortable and lay down. There were two lovely women holding and creating the container, leading us on a drumming meditation. It started quite calmly with a very subtle and gentle beat guiding us, allowing us to gracefully enter into our hearts and souls. We were guided to go to an internal space, a space that was familiar yet foreign in many ways. As the drumming intensified, so did the clarity of my vision. After flashes of water, sights of the ocean, I had arrived at an impressive oak tree, capital O, capital T, among an expansive forest. The tree symbolic of a womb, I was asked to enter with the intention to receive a gift from my inner maiden. She was there to show us something to help us receive a part of ourselves that needed to be reclaimed. When confronted with the task to face her and ask her for the gift, things became blurry for me. At this point, the drumming had multiplied in intensity. The harder I tried to hone in to focus and face my inner maiden, it was as if only flashes of her would swiftly come and go. Being unable to fully see her filled me with a deep sense of curiosity and ultimately a question of why. Why can't I see her? Why can't I face her? What is blocking me? As the drumming died down, I could feel the space I entered beginning to fade away and began slowly coming out of the vision. Taking several moments to let what was just experienced settle within me, feeling slightly perplexed, yet letting the questions sit within me. Afterwards, while the container was still being beautifully held, each of us was allowed, if comfortable enough, to share what we experienced. After hearing each woman share parts of their journey and vivid descriptions of their inner maidens, the questions that came up for me only settled deeper. What was it that was truly blocking me from seeing that part of myself? What is the gift here to be received? Why is it that they all have had vivid descriptions of their maidens and I didn't? A bit nervous, I decided to describe what came up for me and how I was struggling to see my inner maiden. As I was describing this, I realized what the blocks were and that I am honestly only at the beginning of discovering her and tapping into this feminine energy that I hold within. I spent more than half my life living and conforming to an identity that was so far removed from who I am, so no wonder why it was hard for me to see her. It was it felt good to share, however I could feel something else brewing inside. Something that has been building up for the past 15 years. Back to the very first time I discovered the word transgender and realized that I was destined to embody my life as a woman. As the space continued to evolve, some shared chants and songs. One girl started singing a simply beautiful and affirming chant that went like, I am woman, I am beautiful, I am woman, I am free. As simple as it was, I closed my eyes and chanted along, letting each word sink inside me. Huge vibrations and waves of energy filled me as these words left my mouth, activating my throat chakra. I felt a sense of groundedness. For a brief moment, I opened my eyes, scanned the room, and as I sang these words, felt deep, deep affirmation and resonation. That here, that here, I am, hold on, resonation, that here, period. I am, comma, in this sacred red tent, comma, among all these women, for once feeling that I too, I am woman, I am beautiful, I am free. Waves of emotions were crashing into me. An invitation to make offerings and releases at an altar was offered, and the space continued to be held. A few of the women went up and made their offerings, releases, and shed their own layers, each of us supporting one another and creating sisterhood. Feeling compelled, sitting there with these lyrics still lingering inside me, a strong energy grasped a hold of me, moved me to right in front of the altar, in front of all the women. With a subtle shake and pulsating nerves, I knew what I had to do. Not knowing how it would leave me, I began to speak. Um, Hi, everyone. I have never really done this before. Nervously speaking. I'm not typically the type to speak in front of people, but a huge energy got hold of me, and here, here I am. It's long overdue. I need to release something, something so deep, something that I've been holding on to for far, far too long. And it is time. It is time to let it go. Completely terrified, but completely alive, with an outer body experience, the words just left me and kept leaving me. I am trans, a trans woman, and I am beautiful, and I am woman, and I am so scared to show the world this part of me, because I don't have a womb, because I don't menstruate, because I can't birth. I feel so different, like I'm not complete. But right here and right now, in front of all you magical women, I am feeling so complete and so affirmed for once in my life. Writing these lyrics, I am woman and I am beautiful. So that's what she says. It doesn't serve me anymore to let these insecurities take hold of me. I am here to find my inner goddess, to tune in and discover my maiden, because I know how beautiful she is and can be. That's what she says. For a sudden moment, as I made this release, a wave of stillness arrived. A flash of 17-year-old me handcuffed in a police car became present. 17-year-old Nicole, who had just witnessed her friend beaten unconscious by the police. The 17-year-old Nicole, who had also been thrown head hit into the ground, searched for drugs. The 17-year-old Nicole, or as I used to be called, Nick, who was so lost in a world of selling drugs and getting high, had spoken to me. She said, "Thank you. Thank you for never giving up. Thank you for continuing to fight every damn day to get to this moment. Thank you. Thank you for overcoming what seemed like a slither of a dream. I knew you could do it. I knew you would transcend. What felt like a lifetime had passed on in just a matter of minutes. Tears and trembling left my body, fleshed out from deep within, finally released. As I was sitting there, feeling many emotions, one woman chimed in and made an invitation for all the women in the tent. Not remembering her name, but never forgetting her, she said, I'd like to invite all of you to make a chant and intention for Nicole after me if we could all say in our most beautiful voices, Nicole is goddess. In three very beautiful waves, all the women in the tent chimed in and chanted, Nicole is goddess. Nicole is goddess. Nicole is goddess. The sensation I was feeling of receiving and letting these simple but powerful words land into my heart space is hard to put words to. Years of insecurity, doubt, shame, and hiding were washed away from me. Feelings of affirmation, wholeness, and relief were the new energetic waves crashing into me. I felt that night I left that night feeling lighter. Now, as I sit here writing this story, it's just a continuation of the release I made that night. I am filled with a sense of gratitude that despite all the challenges and dark moments, I wouldn't trade this journey for anything. Finally, feeling blessed for this transgender identity, to have lived life on both sides and all the way in between. Realizing that maybe one of the purposes that life has for me is to help inspire others, regardless of gender, orientation, or ethnicity, that we all have the power to transcend beyond the challenges we are going through. With these new shifts and energetic waves, I am eager to integrate them into my work, into my cooking, my food, my creativity, my relationships, and my family. I am looking forward to the uncertainty ahead as I continue shifting my life and my career into full alignment, reminding myself that these perspectives and stories wouldn't exist if it wasn't for this path. As big as big a part of me as big a part of me that it is, a part that I've needed to claim, is still only one glimpse into my painstakingly beautiful and beautifully painstaking life. That's what she says. Now, I couldn't have told you that she was transgender for the life of me. To rescue my life, I would not have been able to say so. So, just mentioning that. Don't know why. Didn't need to, I suppose. Now, the featured authors in here, we've got three more. The featured authors have been Angel B. Hartwell, Karen Rudolph, Batul Ajloni, Debbie Peterson, Deborah Stangl, Dr. B. Thomas, Jackie Ryan, Kathy Sohn, Lindley Baker, Linda Sunshine West, Stacy Shiflett, Nicole Mendes, Sally Green, Sharon Wallen, Stacy McGovern, Valeria Hearn, and Victoria Rader. So, I'm going to read this part here. I don't know if I ever have. 1 in 3 kids experience some form of life-threatening adversity like homelessness, abuse, or community violence. Research shows that a positive relationship with just one caring adult in early childhood can change that child's life entirely. The Playmaker Project puts optimism into practice, providing training and support for a growing network of more than 16,000 professionals who create positive relationships and joy filled environments that children need to heal, learn, and thrive. We call them playmakers. 100% of the net proceeds from the sales of this book are being donated to the Life is Good Playmakers Foundation. Get involved at www.lifeisgood.com. Okay, so that's all for now. Okay, I will talk to you again later. Tomorrow will be a rules day. Okay, all kindergarten.